Let's move on to Embracer
Hmm.
Group. Talking about gaming giants. You guys might not have heard the name Embracer Group very often. You've heard it here on this podcast because we talk about them. But they've been buying up these smaller studios and becoming one of, if not the biggest gaming studio out there. This mega gaming group. Okay, they just bought Middle Earth Entertainment, basically giving them the rights to Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit for $2 billion. To be exact, they have the movie rights, video game rights, and TV rights. But due to some loophole, which we won't break down the loophole, but the loophole, they don't have the rights to the Amazon show. Everything else they got the rights to. They're already talking about a spin-off, a spin-off for Aragon, Golem, and Gandalf, I think it was. Squeaks, do you think we need spin-offs, and are you worried about a new money-hungry company owning Lord of the Rings? There's a plus side, in my opinion. Like, you do get more Lord of the Rings. I'm not hating that, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and that's what am excited for the most. Obviously, to see something new come from that universe that we love so much.
Right.
But it has to be like we talked about with like DC before. It has to be fans that want to see this thing be successful. It can't just be like you said, the money hungering people, right?
Yeah.
Because then it's like we are going to get these spin-offs of Aragon. Do I need to see one of Aragon? No.
Mhm.
Gandalf would be pretty interesting. Golem would be pretty interesting. I think Aragon is established, and I'm okay with, what are we going to see? His uprising before the ring,
Probably him as a ranger would be kind of cool, you know? But yeah.
Yeah. I just don't want to see something I love just be, I don't know, diminish. So,
Yeah.
what do you, I mean, is there anything with those three characters? I guess you could say the Ranger, but like between,
Yeah.
let's just say between Gandalf and Golem that you would really want to invest your time in to see more of the like a backstory or something else?
There is, so the wizards have, like, there's like multiple wizards. I wouldn't mind learning more about those and showing those off. Like, there's like
Okay,
two blue wizards and the brown wizard and yada yada.
that'd be
That would
cool.
be pretty neat. My big concern is that, like, Peter Jackson loved Lord of the Rings. He built a crew that loved Lord of the Rings and created, I would say, probably the best adaptation of any damn thing ever with the Lord of the Rings 3 movies. And to think that somebody else is like, "Hey, I don't want DC or Marvel situation going on here where it's like, "Hey, we're going to make this movie this year, then because like strategically it's money-wise the best to release on a July, we're going to release this movie then and just start pumping things
Yeah.
out. Don't Transformer this, you know? I don't want Michael Bay Transformers coming out, but Lord of the Rings world because
Hmm.
it loses some of the heart, like the emotion that was there when I watched, Two Towers and Return of the King in theaters. I feel like we're gonna lose that. I think it's gonna be, even The Hobbit was a
Yeah.
little bit too much, and that was by Peter Jackson. But like the third Hobbit movie when it was just like all CGI battle, and I was like, you could scale this back a little bit. I'm a little worried about all that myself.
Yeah, it's tough because then you're putting we're always going to consistently grade of like those moments that we felt when it was like the Two Towers battle.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, I think of the cave and the first one, the Fellowship of the Ring, and then the third one, with the battle at was it
Minister,
Mordor, right? Okay.
Minister, yeah,
Uh, that battle, and it's like, man, those are forever probably some of the greatest movie moments ever.
yeah.
And what are you going to do to kind of get me to think of the new Lord of the Rings that way? Because The Hobbit, I could tell you, I mean, besides Smog, maybe like the arrow being shot at Smog was kind of memorable to me.
That was cool.
You
Yeah,
know,
mostly their
Think, you
adventure,
know,
like in the very first movie, like their adventure getting. I kind of liked all that.
yeah,
When they get to
yeah.
Lake Town,
They
but
just
it
don't
wasn't the
like,
same.
not at all, not even close.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I guess you're gonna have to try to build something like that for us, something memorable. But
that
games though, right?
rainy
That you said they have the games.
They have the rainy, yeah, that rainy battle at Helm's Deep, I
Oh
think, is the
yeah,
most iconic moment for me that I will never
yeah,
be touched by another movie. That
yeah.
you saw Game of Thrones trying so hard to get that with the Battle of the Bastards. It was very dope, but it's like, I
Hmm.
mean, good job, guy. But it's not Helm's Deep.
Yeah,
You know? Yes,
yeah.
they have the games too. So the Golem game is going to be theirs now. Shadow of Mordor. This worries me the most because Shadow of Mordor, I think, is one of the best games that nobody talks about. And what's tricky is while this company now owns the rights to all the Lord of the Rings stuff, including Shadow of Mordor now, they don't have the rights to the Nemesis system, which is WB's copyright. So
Mm,
basically, Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, those games are dead because you can't have the game without Nemesis system. It would be impossible unless they make a deal for WB to make another one, but I doubt it.
yeah. A little off topic. Would there be just a random question putting you on the spot? Would there be from WB another game you would like to see, or brand new game, of course, that uses the Nemesis system?
You wanting me to say Harry Potter? Is that what the whole? Yeah, Harry Potter, man.
Oh man, don't tease me like that.
Think about it. You're think about this. What if it's like a dystopian future and Hogwarts is full of kids that learn like half magic, and so you're
Mhm.
trying to survive Hogwarts, and you come across some punk Slytherin punk, and you fight him, and he survives, but now he's always a little bit twisted by the spell you put into his head. So next time you fight him, he's a little
Mm,
bit crazier because of it, or he got burnt from a fire spell. So you're going through like a dystopian Hogwarts, and you're trying to take control and calm the school down. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing evil
see, now
Hogwarts.
you get, yeah, now you got me thinking. See, I'm thinking like, okay, what if you just do the whole Baltimore thing again, but then you like are twisting his Death Eaters, and
That's
then
true. You
you do
don't
that
need
whole
bad
route.
guys.
Yeah,
I'm adding bad guys to Hogwarts, but there actually was an attack on
yeah,
Hogwarts that you could. You're right. Yeah,
that was
that
fully
was a
destroyed.
fucking
Yeah, yeah.
dope movie too. It's so funny. Like I love to think of like what filming must have looked like. But if you think of like Harry Potter and Hogwarts or Voldemort like shooting each other with the wands, it was insanely epic on screen. But on the set was like two people
Mhm.
pointing sticks at each other and just like, you know. I just love that scene.
You're supposed to feel this pushback. I'm like, I'm just fighting air.
Yeah,
So,
it's like Star Trek. I love Star
oh
Trek,
man,
but there's every episode a point where like, all right, everybody, fall left and go. Like, oh, we got hit. It
yeah.
happens every episode, so it's just funny that that looks bad filming.
Uh,
As for
that's
Lord of the
funny.
Rings, there is no moments like that. It's perfect. Um, Anything else on this that you're worried about with Embracer Group or the possibilities of positive moments? Like again, with more content coming.
Um, Positive moments, yeah, more content. I need some more Lord of the Rings in my life. I'm hoping this Amazon show does satisfy my needs for Lord of the Rings. I would like
Yeah.
to see Lord of the Rings kind of be coming out like Star Wars lately.
Hmm.
Um, and I just hope for the best. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping for more Lord of the Rings comic books. I think that would be a really cool place to explore.
Oh,
Something they can do
nice.
because that's a good way to really like use the literature in modern text and helps the comic book industry. So that'd
Mm.
be good all the way around.